What's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for coming back to another video. And in today's video, we're going to be doing another double feature. The last time I did this, it made a little bit more sense because I did The Shining and Dr. Sleep. And I'm sitting in my car right now at the parking lot, the parking garage of the movie theater. I'm waiting for Haley to get off of work, and I'm just kind of here chilling. I'm really hoping that nobody comes by and sees me talking to myself in my car, because I really don't want to have that awkward moment. So yeah, as you can see from the title, I'll be reviewing 1917 and the new Impractical Jokers, the movie. Two very different kinds of movies. One that is a masterfully well put together film that you can tell just has so much artistic love put into it. And the other one is just a really fun, just TV movie that essentially went to theaters. It has a little bit of a higher budget than a TV movie. But yeah, it takes this really silly TV show that I really enjoy and takes it to the big screen. And essentially is a higher budget, longer episode of the TV series. But yeah, guys, let's talk about both of these. Let's start with 1917. So I can only imagine you guys have heard about this film at this point. A World War I epic that's just absolutely incredible. The film is directed by Sam Mendes, and the cinematography is done by Roger Deakins. And you know, I tend to praise the cinematography in a lot of my reviews, but I don't always tend to say who it is that is the director of photography. And Roger Deakins has just really made a name for himself in the cinematic world and just movies in general. There's so many movies that you probably don't even know that you've watched that you've really enjoyed the camera work on, and Roger Deakins was behind the camera. And this is just probably got to be one of my favorite films that he was behind the camera. What him and Sam Mendes did for this film is just truly beautiful. This is a film that is going to be remembered by people for many, many years. Now, I do have some criticisms and my thoughts on how some people may take this film, but on an overall level, I'll go ahead and say this film is amazing. This is a really great war film. I love war films. If you can take me and just put me in that situation and really make me feel engulfed in the story and feel really tense with the characters, I have such a great time with films like that. I haven't gotten to review it on this channel yet, but one of the more recent war films that I really enjoyed as well was Hacksaw Ridge with Andrew Garfield. But as far as this one goes, wow, what a film. This film is just so well directed, so well acted. The cinematography is absolutely incredible. So if you have not heard about the way this film was shot yet, one of the things that's just most mind-blowing about this film is the fact that they shot this film to be essentially a one take. Of course, it's not one take, it is split up, and there's only actually one cut in the film where a character goes unconscious and this has your more traditional blackout cut. The rest of the film is shot to essentially come across like one big long scene, and I really love the way that they were able to execute this. I mean, the cinematography in this film is phenomenal. There are a few moments where you'll see them kind of take the camera behind a tree or a rock or something like that, which is where you can tell they cut and they just transitioned it to the next scene, but it is seamless. Even though I was able to notice where those moments were, it's only because I knew going into it that this film was shot to be this way. So I was really curious to see where the cuts would be, so I was looking for that. But if you're not thinking about this, the film really just does seem like one continuous take for a majority of the film. It is incredibly well directed, incredibly well acted. Like I said, the special effects are phenomenal. All the CG in this film does exactly what a lot of people really love out of CG, which is just be there without people knowing that it's there. I did watch like a behind the scenes featurette kind of thing about the CGI before I saw this film, so there were some of the clips and some of the scenes that I already knew CG was there, but being able to see it on a big screen and watch this film, all I could think to myself was, if I didn't know that that was CG, I would not think it's CG. There's only a couple moments where you see some rats in the film that kind of look CG, but for the most part, everything else in this film looks phenomenal. It's a beautiful blend of digital and practical effects. I really love what they did with this film on every single level. You can tell that there was just so much talent and love and artistry just put into this film. The performances, again, are phenomenal. Everything feels so real and tangible. All the performances feel like natural, real people in this situation. All the effects were so well done. The set design was incredible. The costume design was phenomenal. And one of the things that I loved so much about the set design was as these characters were walking, and again, though there were cuts throughout the film when they would cross the camera behind a tree or a rock or something where they were able to blur the vision a little bit and you could tell that there was a cut there, it is so seamless that you can't tell. It really does feel like you're following these characters around in this war and what they're going through from place to place. It feels like it's unbroken. It feels like it's seamless. It feels like you literally, if it does cross behind a tree, that you're literally seeing the same people the second after in the exact same moment. And I think that's just a praise that I have to give to the actors for being able to pick up every time exactly where they left off in the last take. I really enjoyed that. The cinematography, again, is just beyond praising. I'm going to just keep saying that, but what Roger Deakins has done here is just something incredibly masterful in his craft, and I think he's going to be forever remembered. He was already going to be forever remembered, but this film, I think, just took him up to another level, and I just think wow, I really can't wait to see what the next war film we get is that's hopefully inspired by what they were able to do here. Not a copycat, but just something to be able to take it to the next level, because what they've done here is really take what great storytelling you're able to do in a war story and really double down on it with this just great cinematography, the great performances, and something that really just feels urgent. And that's something I loved about this film. The stakes were high, there was a sense of urgency, you really do feel like you're in it, you're in what's going on. I did thoroughly enjoy the characters in this movie. A lot of times you will see characters for a very brief period of time, and that's because this film really focuses on two characters and specifically one character, and as time goes on you will see some familiar faces. There's some big actors in this movie like Mark Strong and Benedict Cumberbatch, but you'll only see those actors for like a scene or two, and that's mainly because of the way that the film is shot. It's shot for you to continue to follow this hero, this main character in the story, and it really doesn't matter who these other characters are. It's nice to see these familiar actors, but it's not the kind of film that's jumping back and forth from different characters in different situations. You follow the main character of the film, and as the camera pans and follows him, if those characters are left behind, those characters are left behind in the story. And I really enjoyed that. It's a film that feels very centered, very focused. I really enjoyed the characters. I really enjoyed what was going on. I really enjoyed the urgency. The stakes were all there. This is a film I highly recommend, guys. There's just so much to the setting of this film. The set design is so great. Like I was mentioning before, I kind of lost my train of thought a little bit, but there are just so many moments where they're walking around and just the dead bodies that are set in places, the dead animals, everything just feels so lived in, so real. It's such a tangible film, and you really can't tell when there is CGI on the screen outside of those moments with the rats. Like I mentioned, I think that this is literally some of the best use of CG that I've seen this past year, and I just can't believe I waited this long to see this film. It's such a beautiful film, a film that I cannot wait to own on Blu-ray and watch again, a film that if you still have the chance to check it out in theaters, you must check it out in theaters, because even the director himself, Sam Mendes, said this is a film he intended for people to see in theaters. Shit. So yeah, guys, my thoughts on 1917, a beautiful film that I highly recommend. As far as my negatives that I have about it, I would say that there are a few moments that felt kind of slow, some scenes that I maybe would have trimmed out that kind of, it feels like character building moments, which I'm okay with, you know, but not necessarily character building moments that I felt were necessarily needed. It just kind of made the main character a little bit more likable, which I enjoyed, but it just did slow down the pace of the film a little bit for me. And I can feel that some people may watch this movie and think it's a little boring at certain times, though even in these slower moments, I was still really engaged. I was never taken out of the film. I was super invested in what was happening. I love the visuals. I love the action. I love again, the sense of stakes and the sense of urgency in this story is what I really loved the most, outside of the cinematography and just everything else. This is a masterfully put together film, and I could not recommend it enough, guys. So before I continue to say the same things over and over and over again, go watch 1917, a film that I highly recommend, and I think you guys will definitely appreciate it. So let's move on to something entirely different. Impractical Jokers, the movie. If you do not know what Impractical Jokers is, it's a show that's on True TV. Essentially, it's a show about four best friends that just put each other through a bunch of really embarrassing challenges, and whoever loses at the end of the episode has to do some sort of big punishment where they're going to be even more embarrassed. And it's such a fun and just silly show. Now, what I will say right out of the gate, if you're not good with secondhand embarrassment or just watching really embarrassing things or candid camera kind of prank shows, this show and this movie is not going to be for you. This is essentially just taking that premise from the TV show and just doing it with a bigger budget and a longer, essentially TV special. But you know, there's a higher budget to it, and it's half scripted and half of the reality show element that they do with the actual television show. This is by no means some film that I'm going to recommend to everybody, and a film that I think is mind-blowing, but as a fan of the show and the silliness and just how weird and wacky these guys are, and just how much I love them as best friends, I really enjoyed being able to watch this movie. I had such a great time watching it. There was a lot of laughs. There were some cringy moments and some things here and there that I didn't think were super funny, specifically around the scripted parts of the movie. The basic premise is they're all going to a Paula Abdul show in Miami, and they were only given 3 tickets. There's 4 of them, and on their road trip down to Miami, they need to essentially do different challenges, and whoever loses at the end of the movie is the one who can't go to the Paula Abdul concert and party. So yeah, that's the basic premise. And you know, the little skit moments, the little sketch moments that were scripted, I found them to be cute and funny because I enjoyed the people. I enjoy them. It's funny to say actors because, you know, they were acting, but it just felt like they were just kind of riffing off each other, and they had base lines on what to say, and it was just these fun little skits. So as a fan of them from their TV show, I did enjoy being able to see them just kind of goof off and be able to have this higher budget where they're able to be in a Practical Jokers film. I thought that was really funny. You know, it's not a film that has a narrative that you care about, that you're invested with things. It's just taking that basic premise from the TV show where you get to see these guys do all these really crazy antics and see people in really awkward situations because of the stuff that they have to do. And I don't think it was some of their best jokes or pranks that they've done. I think they have way better stuff that's been on the actual TV show. But as a fan of the show, I did thoroughly enjoy it. I do highly recommend it if you guys are a fan of the TV show. I don't really have too much more to say about it because it's not a film where I can sit here and praise the cinematography and then this and that and that and this. It's just a fun time if you're a fan of Impractical Jokers. Again, it just takes that basic premise, the exact premise that you watch on the TV shows. This is essentially the TV show, which again, with just a higher budget and more jokes and more pranks that they can do because it's like an hour and 40, an hour and 50 or something like that. So, you know, you take that basic premise from the TV show and you just add a couple scripted elements to it. And yeah, you have a fun, really silly, long TV special that goes to theaters. I do highly recommend it, guys, if you're a fan of Impractical Jokers. But for instance, my girlfriend Haley hates this kind of stuff. She doesn't really like seeing people get embarrassed or feel uncomfortable. She gets secondhand embarrassment. So this movie she was totally okay with missing, and so I checked it out myself. As a fan of this kind of stuff, I love it, but I do recognize that if you're not into secondhand embarrassment or things like this that make people feel uncomfortable because it's so cringe, you may not enjoy this movie and you may want to steer clear of it. But if it says something that is interesting you, definitely go and check out an episode of the TV show. And if you like the episode of the TV show, then you'll definitely have a good laugh watching this movie in theaters. And I think what made it really cool for me was that the theater was not very packed, but you can tell everybody who was in there was a big fan of the show. There was applause, there was huge laughs at times from certain individuals. You know, I don't want to make it like seem like the theater was empty, but there wasn't like a full theater. But who was in there definitely was a fan of the show. You could tell they were super excited. Callbacks and references to jokes or build up from jokes from the show were definitely played out in this movie. And I really enjoyed people just being able to get the enjoyment out of seeing the longevity of these guys on their show and, you know, being able to just support them. I felt good being able to have paid for a ticket and sat there and watched a movie that I know is going to support what they did. And so I really enjoyed it. I had a good time with it. Definitely go check out Impractical Jokers, the movie, if you are a fan of the show. But yeah, guys, 1917, a beautiful film that I could not recommend more. A beautiful film that Sam Mendes has just beautifully crafted. I probably said beautiful way too many times in this review. I'm sorry if that's the case. But yeah, guys, I do highly recommend 1917. It's a film that I think is going to go down in history. And if you have not seen it already, I highly recommend it. I think you're missing out. And if you can still catch it in theaters, please do yourself the favor and go see this in theaters, because just the sound design, the costume design, the big explosions, everything going on, the massiveness, the scope, the scale, the urgency, you gotta feel that tension sitting in a theater very intimately, where you're just locked inside a dark room with a movie. And I just love feeling like that when I watch a movie that really just has me tense and really attached to what's going on, and I was really into it all. So yeah, guys, 1917, definitely go check it out. I think I've said what I need to say about Impractical Jokers, the movie. It's just a silly, fun time, and as a fan of the show, I had a great time with the movie. I recognize that this movie is not going to be for everybody. It's just a silly, good time. If you're into this kind of stuff, do check it out. If not, I can understand why you'd miss it. So yeah, guys, that's going to be my double feature. Definitely leave your comments down below. Which of these two movies did you like the most? I'm going to assume it's 1917. Definitely leave all your thoughts and comments down below, guys. Hit that like button if you enjoyed this video. It really helps the channel out. And if you are watching this and you are not yet subscribed, what are you doing? Come on. What in God's name are you doing? Hit the subscribe button, watch more of my videos, and let's get to know each other. I've made so many friends here on YouTube because they have commented down below. You can be one of them. You can be one of them. I respond to every comment. Nobody likes my videos. Yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I do appreciate every single one of you guys. I appreciate you guys so much. Hit that like button, comment down below, and I'll see each and one of you guys. Hit that like button, comment down below, yada, 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 yada. And I will see each and every single one of you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.